I
know
also switched
that was.
over to my 2.4G because the laptop was connected to the 5G for some reason, and for some reason my 5G has issues every once in a while.
Well, that's not good.
No, it's not good at all.
I would say
But it looks to be working
don't do
now.
that.
Well, it sucks. I don't know. It just sucks.
Does it
Because what's
does?
even more weird about that connection is that I have a lot of my like home pods and stuff connected to the 5G. 5G is essentially just supposed to be so that you don't really get as much interference as you would on the 2.4G because you don't have a lot of other stuff operating on that frequency. But like they don't always talk to each other. So I'll be trying to I'll try and tell like my HomePod to turn off a light or something like that, or to uh, do something else, and it won't do it. And I think it's because it's on a different network. Like for some reason, my router just has issues taking in information from one band and transferring it to another, whether it's Ethernet or the 2.4 gigahertz.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's weird.
Well, that is weird.
Yeah. So how you doing this week?
I'm doing good, man. Tired.
Yeah.
A little bit tired.
Yeah. I hear that. I got my COVID booster this past week, and it
Oh,
kicked my ass.
yeah.
Yeah, that was no fun. I mean, extra day off, but no fun.
Extra day off, but no fun.
Yeah,
That's not the way you should have a day off, though. You should have a day off a different way.
you would think, but that's just generally how I take days off,
Fair enough.
now at least. It's really weird having only weekends off when you realize that there are a lot of things. Because for years uh, I've had weekdays off, like Wednesday, Thursday, stuff like that,
Yeah,
and
of
I've
course.
always worked the weekends. And it's really weird to think that now that I have just weekends off, there are certain things that are only open during the weekday, like doctor's offices, dentist offices. Which, by the way, I have a dentist appointment next Thursday at 9:30, so we'll have to record early then as well. But it's like, yeah, so I literally have to either like schedule things super early in the morning in order to avoid work, or I have to take days off just to go to these things, and it sucks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's funny too because like you think most people work Monday through Friday. A lot of people do, obviously, because like banks and doctors' offices. So if they work at a doctor's office or at a bank, when do they do those things?
yeah,
They also have to take a day off to do those things. I'm like,
right. And you would think in this day and age that there would be, and I guess like you could do like an urgent care or something like that. There are places that you could go to that are 24/7, but it's like if you have a family practice doctor that you're going to, you know, being able to schedule something on the weekend would be pretty nice,
would be
for a lot of people. Anyway, my 2 cents.
boom.
Now that I'm a part of the 9 to 5 world, well, Monday through Friday world, I don't work 9 to 5.
Nine,
Anyway,
9 to 5. Ew.
yeah, right. I work 12:30 to 9.
12:39.
Speaking of working it,
Yeah. Excellent transition. I can't wait for this.
I'm trying to think of which one I'm going to go with. I'll go with this one. Sausage Party is apparently getting a sequel series on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
If there were anything that I would have guessed that would be getting a sequel series, it like Sausage Party would not be on there at all.
Nah.
it was not even considered, like, I liked it. I think you liked it too. We went and saw it in theaters and thought it was pretty funny. But there were a ton of people that did not like it, mostly for the crude humor that it had in it. Uh, so it's really interesting to see that it's being picked up on Amazon Prime to be an actual series. And I wonder how crude they're going to be allowed to be in this series.
Yeah, dude, I read that. I didn't read the whole article. I skimmed it, but I was like, how the fuck is this gonna work? Like, who the fuck is like how who approved this? Who thought, you know what? You know, it needs a just a sequel in general, not just a sequel series, but you know, it needs a sequel. That food fucking movie.
Yeah.
What?
You know what I'd like to see more of? Food fucking.
Food fucking.
Get me Seth Rogen. I don't want to see him fuck food. I want him to see it. I want him to make a show about food fucking.
Yep.
Yeah, he already did that.
Awesome. Yeah, well, he's gonna do some more of it.
He's gonna do more of it. So apparently, it's gonna be called Sausage Party Footopia.
Yeah.
It is an 8. They call it. It's funny. They call it an 8-course television event. It's gonna star Seth Rogen, Kristen Wiig, Michael Cera, David Krumholtz, and Edward Norton. So basically everybody returning for their roles that they had in the original movie. There isn't really anything about plot as of yet. And as far as I could remember in this article, there was no like a specific date. It just said sometime in 2024 is when they're aiming for. But yeah, I thought that was interesting and just out of the blue. I'll watch it. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was hilarious and dumb at the same time.
Yeah.
So if it's more of the same, I'm just going to enjoy the show too.
If you ever saw the trailers and didn't know what you're getting into, you're dumb.
Right.
Like you can't watch those trailers, and I mean, the whole food orgy at the end was a little bit like out of nowhere in a way. Like I would have never guessed they were gonna have a full on food orgy. But if you watch those trailers and didn't know you're gonna get into some ridiculous shit, then your eyes aren't working, your brain's dumb or something. I don't know.
Yeah, totally. But speaking of food orgy,
yes.
You've been to a Krispy Kreme, right?
Yeah, you and I've been to one together.
Yeah. Do you enjoy Krispy Kreme donuts?
I mean, up until that $5 apple fritter, I did.
Do you enjoy McDonald's?
Uh-oh. I don't know where this is going, but I'm interested all of a sudden.
How would you like to be able to buy Krispy Kreme donuts at McDonald's?
What now?
Yeah. So apparently it's like a test thing that they're doing right now in, let's see, what it says. It's currently live, or let's see, blah, blah, blah. Yes, everybody's favorite hot and ready donuts are heading to McDonald's near you. That is if you live near one of 9 restaurants in Louisville, Kentucky area.
Oh, I don't.
No, we don't. This is our article coming from Delish, titled Krispy Kreme donuts could soon be on the menu at McDonald's near you. So yeah, it's just in a test market right now. It's a little weird because it's not the two they kind of compete with the breakfast stuff with each other.
Huh.
But on the one hand, I think it's not a bad idea because I think Krispy Kreme has been actually closing down stores in some areas, if I recall right.
Probably.
Because didn't they close down one in our area?
They closed down.
Glendale?
They closed down a couple, like a few times. Like the one over by Arrowhead closed, and I believe it reopened, and then it closed again.
Yeah.
And I know I believe, I don't know if it's the same one, obviously, but there is one further down on Bell, like right before 51st Avenue, I think, on the north side, because there's a new, I say new, it's been there for a couple years now, I think, but there's like It's like a Jack in the Box and some other shit in there. And it's across the way from the Freddy. Well, it's a catty corner from where that Freddy's we used to go to is, and then across from that like hot dog place that's in the gas station or attached to the gas
Bob's
station.
Hot Dogs.
Yeah, Bob's Hot Dogs.
Not really called Bob's Hot Dogs, but literally, if you went there, it feels like Bob's Burgers, but with hot dogs.
Yeah, I mean, there's a child-sized hot dog costume, so
it's hilarious how close it is, and it's actually really good
to
go to. I just actually don't remember the name of the
Bob's Hot Dogs is what it is.
So we just call it Bob's Hot Dogs.
Yeah, don't worry, they'll change it.
Yeah. So basically, during this test run, according to this article, they'll be selling the original glazed donut, chocolate iced with sprinkles donut, and a raspberry filled donut. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Makes me wonder how many people are going to actually try and order like donut burgers, because you've seen those, right?
Yeah.
Those monstrosities where people use the donuts as buns.
Wasn't Krispy
You're
Kreme
gonna have
the partner
like a
of those?
McCrispy gangbang or something like that.
McCrispy gangbang. Wasn't Krispy Kreme like the culprit in that in one of the stadiums or something? Wasn't their donuts the ones they were using for the buns?
I have no idea of the origin of it. It's nothing I would ever try. That seems like an abomination.
Yeah,
to
it seems
me.
terrible.
I mean, it might taste good, but like you can't use a donut as a bun. It's just too sticky. Like the purpose of a bun is to keep your fingers from getting greasy and oily and shit. Like you can't replace a bun with something that's literally greasy and sticky.
Yeah, it's not good.
No, not good at all.
Plus I mean we had this conversation before when we did a list of this weird article we found, list of alternate hamburger buns, and donuts were one of them. We're like, nah, man, it just like,
yeah,
it's gonna get your hands sticky no matter what. Plus, like the flavor combinations is not the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't want a sweet, like overly sweet bun. Like if you get like a Hawaiian sweet bread type
Hawaiian
bun,
sweet bun.
those are good.
Those are good, but yeah, it's not very sweet.
Yeah. It's dumb, whatever.
Dumb, totally.
Stupid, dumb people.
Speaking of things that are very sweet.
Yes, I'm right here.
Yeah, let's go with this one. Apparently, the spin-off Batman series from The Batman is still scheduled to happen from Warner Brothers. Even though it seems like they've been axing a bunch of things lately, and there really hasn't been any much talk about this series. According to Uprocks, the Batman spin-off series that's focused on Arkham Asylum is still happening, despite what's going on over at Warner Brothers right now. There wasn't really a whole lot of much more detail in it, just that in this article right now, it was literally only like 4 paragraphs long. But yeah, apparently they still plan on making the spin-off series, more spin-off series from what's his name's Batman?
Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves is Batman, but I was going to go with
Battinson?
the dude Battinson. Yes, Chris, Jesus.
Robert?
It's early in the morning.
Don't blame
Robert
the earliness
Pattinson's
for your
Batman.
stupidity.
Look, I've only had 1 cup of coffee,
Oh,
which
my
is only
God.
like 100 milligrams of caffeine. Usually I've had at least 200 milligrams of caffeine by right now.
Bro, speaking of which, real quick, not to sidetrack you, because I have the same similar article you have. I had pulled up as well. So, have you tried Black Rifle coffee?
I have not tried Black Rifle coffee, no.
All right, so they sell Black Rifle coffee pre-made in gas stations and shit now. I think it's in grocery stores too. So if you're at Fry's, you can look at them. They have the thinner can ones with like espresso or whatever. And there's a couple different flavors.
Okay.
But then they have a bigger can, like the monster size can, which I think is like 16 ounces or whatever, right? They have one that's 300 milligrams.
That's not that bad. That's literally 3 cups of coffee.
It is eye-opening. Like, to tell you, like it's like it is weird because it doesn't seem strong. Like the coffee doesn't seem strong, but I was like, man, I felt it. But the problem with Black Rifle coffee, pre-made stuff, it's real expensive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's like $4 for that can.
Yeah, that's way too much.
I was like, this too much. This too expensive. But I tried one and I was like, this ain't bad. It doesn't have a great coffee flavor. That one doesn't. The smaller ones have better coffee flavor. But I think it's because all the shit they put in it to get 300 milligrams in one fucking can of coffee.
Well, it's probably just it's more like an espresso shot.
Maybe. It's fucking
so like
ridiculous.
a couple of espresso shots. Actually, I think there's like 100 milligrams of caffeine in one espresso shot, so it's essentially 3 espresso shots.
I think that makes sense because it's called triple something.
Triple shot?
It might be triple shot. I can't remember. I can probably look it up.
Which would make sense for Black Rifle coffee to make something that's called a triple shot. No, I've kind of stopped really drinking pre-made coffee like that for the most part. Mostly, partially because we really don't go out and do stuff anymore a whole lot. But for coffee now, if I actually do drink coffee, and for the longest time, I've been drinking Colt coffee, which is an Arizona-based coffee, and it is fantastic. If you've never had Colt coffee, I would highly recommend it. I always buy the espresso beans, but I've tried some of the other stuff that they've done. French, what is it? French, there's Colombian Dream, I think, and French something or other. Obviously, it's Colombian coffee, and then French, like French press, meant for coffee and whatnot.
Gotcha.
It's about the same price as like a bag of Starbucks coffee. And it is one of the best tasting coffees I've ever had.
Interesting.
Like as long as Fry's keeps selling it, I'm going to keep buying it. And it also supports literally a local business because it is a local Arizona company. So I don't think you can really get it in any other state. I'm not really sure. I've only ever seen Fry's carry it. I've never seen Walmart carry it. So if you don't have a Fry's or a Kroger, you might not get it either. But yeah, it's good stuff. I would highly suggest if you like coffee and you don't mind, because they do have like pre-ground and ground coffee, and I always get the whole bean coffee is what I mean, pre-ground and whole bean, because it's a bit fresher to grind your own beans.
Yeah, because it doesn't oxidize or whatever.
Yeah, and then I bought for it. It's really cool too. There's a company called Fellows, which is all they do is make coffee, like high-end coffee stuff. Best Buy does sell some of their stuff, and I learned about it through, what was it? Through, I think it was like through some ad on YouTube, and I was like, well, that's pretty interesting. And then I found out like Fellows, the founders of Fellows Coffee is literally a bunch of people that used to work at Apple. So it's very like high-end stuff, and the price reflects that. Gotcha. But they have these really cool canisters that you can put your whole bean coffee into, and you could put your ground coffee into as well. But they have twist lids on the top that pump the air out so that you can keep the air pressure low, so that the coffee doesn't oxidize as fast. Plus, they sell the canisters in like they're just stainless steel canisters, so there's no sunlight that can get into these canisters that also help to oxidize coffee. It's so awesome when you hit the little button on the top of it and it releases the air pressure inside, and you just get this whiff of coffee, and you're just like,
yes, I love that smell.
Right? Anyway, I would highly suggest they also, I think Cold Coffee also does like Keurig pods as well. And they have some other weird stuff that I've never actually seen. If you go to their website, they have like, they look like tea bags, but it has coffee in them. But I've never seen Fry's sell them. So I kind of want to try it.
I think I've seen that somewhere too. Sounds interesting.
Yeah. Right? Because when you're working with tea, that's essentially what you're doing. Like coffee is essentially a tea.
Yeah. It's just more of a bitter tea. Like,
Yeah.
which is perfectly fine. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
I had a news article I wanted to talk about, and I don't know where the fuck it went. And I'm starting to think it wasn't on Apple News.
It's quite possible. There have been times when I've I've seen articles off of Apple News. There was actually, I think last week there was an article that because a lot of times I'll see something on a website and be like, that'd be cool to talk about. And so what I do is I'll forward that to open in Apple News so that I can save the article. But I actually ran into a website that was like, no, fam, you can't do that. And I was like, wait, you can't do that?
Wait, huh?
It doesn't allow you to open up in Apple News so that you can bookmark it and save it for later? I'm not bookmarking this fucking website just for this article.
Horseshit.
So I don't remember what it was.
Horseshit.
I'm debating whether to even talk about this other one, because if you, one of these other articles that I saved, because I kind of ruined it for me.
Uh-oh.
Well, this article ruined this property for me.
Ruined.
Because I didn't know. Ruined. Have you seen Black Adam?
No, we have not seen it yet.
Have you read anything about Black Adam?
I think I know what you're talking about. Talk about the stinger scene?
The stinger scene at the end, yeah. Do you obviously know what the stinger scene is? Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and delve into it. I don't know. So I didn't read too much about it. I also got this spoiled for me from an article because it. Well, actually, no. So the funny thing was, I don't know if you saw this or not. The same thing. Before I briefly read an article about it. DC actually ruined it for everyone. If you follow DC, is it DC? I think it's DC's main Twitter thing. They actually accidentally posted a photo of it.
Oh no, I'm not on Twitter, so I didn't hear any of that. I actually heard about it the first, scrolling through Apple News. I believe I ran across an article title that was something to the effect of like Henry Cavill tweets that he's going to be doing Superman again, and it was like, oh, that's awesome. By the way, that's literally what we're talking about right now. And then like a couple articles down is like Superman in stinger scene of Black Adam, and it was like, oh, that's awesome. And then it dawned on me, oh, fuck you ruined that surprise for me.
Yeah. Same.
So if you don't know, like, again, what we're talking about essentially is that at the very end of Black Adam, the stinger scene that they have is literally Henry Cavill showing up as Superman. I don't know. I didn't read exactly what the scene is about. I just read essentially that he shows up at the end as Superman, basically confirming that Henry Cavill is going to continue on as Superman. I don't want to spoil anything for myself, so I didn't really read anything forward. I don't know if this is if they mentioned anything about one movie or multiple movies that he has coming forward or whatnot. It's just that he is Superman and he's coming back for more. And this ties into the other article that you posted to our chat yesterday with the fact that James Gunn, and I am spacing out on the other dude, are going to be involved in DC going forward.
Yep.
Yeah.
Robert Safran, I believe his name is, or Safran or something. I don't know. But he's currently one of the producers of the DC movies, and has a close working relationship with James, because he also worked on the Bilko Experience, and James is Mr. Gunn. Sorry. Suicide Squad from last year. He had like, I was looking at the list of credits, and he's involved in majority of the good DC movies. I say that, like, tongue in cheek, whatever, but ones that we regard as the better ones, the ones we enjoy more, like Aquaman, for example, Shazam, the new Shazam. I believe, I don't know if he had Black Adam or not listed as one of his credits. I can't remember, but yeah, he it's gonna be interesting because like I have it right here. He's went from being an executive producer, which I don't know if anybody really knows the difference. So executive producers are essentially money people. So they're people who either use their own money or bring in people's money and do that. Producers, they are actually part of the production. That's why their name is producers, not executive producer. Executive means money. Producer means actual work. And he's done his... If you go back and look at his credits, I won't go through all of them because there's a bunch. There's a lot of fucking weird ones on there that I don't know. And it shouldn't ever matter. Like, oh, he worked on comedies. He can't be good at superhero movies. It's not what I mean by that. But it's just the random shit he did. But it's also like early days, like early part of his career is like Rocket Man. I don't know if you know what Rocket Man is, but that's the Harlan Williams movie. The comedy.
What is that? The Elton John
biography? No, that's the thing. This is the 1997 one. He co-produced it. This one has Harlan Williams, where he goes like he's this bumbling buffoon who ends up going to like it's essentially a remake of the Reluctant Astronaut, I think. Anyways, basically it's just a comedy where it's the one where he farts in the spacesuit and they're connected by the airline.
Oh, I do remember that scene. Yeah.
But more of the interesting part that I found, because I didn't know much about this guy, this dude was very big into horror movies. So he worked. He was a producer on things like The Conjuring, Hours, which is I don't know if you remember that one or not.
No.
Annabelle, Martyrs, Conjuring 2. The Bilko Experiment, like I said earlier.
Yes.
Annabelle Creation, The Crucifix, Flatliners, the newer one, The Nun, and then he gets into more of the DC stuff. But I was going through this list, I realized that, a ton of these are Warner Brother properties. So he's been in
the... He worked on Aquaman then, too, didn't he? You said Aquaman earlier, which is a James Wan movie.
Yeah. Which makes sense because he worked with The Conjuring.
James Wan movies.
Yeah. So, and then I was looking at it, and he has a special thanks in Slither. And if the name doesn't recognize, it's basically one of James Gunn's first non-trauma movies. But he also has a special thanks in Super, which is a James Gunn movie. He's an executive producer on Peacemaker.
Okay.
So him and James have a very healthy relationship, it seems. But this dude is also a producer on he's not part of Black Adam. I was looking at the list right now. So more current or soon to be out movies: Shazam, Fury of the Gods, the Blue Beetle movie, the Nun 2, Aquaman, and the Lost Kingdom, and the Conjuring 4 title to be announced. So he has his hands in all the upcoming stuff and future stuff, as well as a ton of the other ones. Because like I said, Aquaman on here, Shazam's on here, the newer Conjuring movie, the new Suicide Squad movie, they're all on here as well. So he's not new to the realm, and he's just much like most producers. His name is not well known to the mass majority, but him taking into a role that's very Kevin Feige-like, along with James Gunn, is super exciting, but also interesting because like Kevin Feige is producer, obviously, like mega producer, and fucking just will ever be known as like the savior of superhero movies for the most part. James, to me, and I'm not saying like, so I bring this up because someone had tweeted him saying, "Hey, congrats on the new role. It's just a shame that you're not going to be directing." But I don't know why that's a weird. What?
Doesn't mean he's not going to.
Exactly. Like someone just made this leap because that's what people on the internet do. They just assume things. And James said, "That's not what this means, but thank you very much." I appreciate it, whatever it was. And it's like got me thinking. It's like, not just like I would never think he's going to step away from the directing game because that's his gig, right? That's what he's always wanted to do. But then I was like, oh, but he gets to hand pick the stuff he does make.
Yeah.
And so we're going to see some of Nathan Fillion in a starring role in a superhero movie of some sort. I know it. I don't know what that is yet, but I'm down. Even if it's a fucking arms off boy movie or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, it's just it was when I saw that I was like, wait, hold on, excuse me, yes please, can I has this now? No, all right, cool.
I just wonder how they're going to go forward. They're obviously keeping Henry Cavill as Superman. We are getting Ben Affleck coming back as Batman in
The Flash.
The Flash movie.
Oh, and Aquaman actually, I believe too. It was announced.
In the Flash movie?
No,
Aquaman 3.
Batfleck is going to be in Aquaman 2. At some
be in Aquaman 2.
Yeah, some aspect of it. I don't know how it's going to work. His fucking water aqua bat suit or something. I don't know.
So my point is like, are they going to continue and try and finish the story that Zack Snyder had set out in Justice League in order to finish out the Darkseid story, because that was supposed to be like just a trilogy of movies, or are they going to say that happened, but we're going to do something else and maybe put that back on the back burner and finish that storyline later, maybe at some point in time? I'm just wondering, like, what are they doing going forward?
Yeah.
Obviously they were able to bring back some of the big stars. I enjoyed Ben Affleck as Batman. I thoroughly enjoy Henry Cavill as Superman. All of the actors that they have doing these roles are fantastic, minus one particular person who turned out to be kind of a weirdo and kind of a piece of garbage, from what I've read, allegedly. So just be wondering what they do going forward, what story that they do going forward, whether they just kind of slowly, just quietly reboot everything, or if they continue directly what the story is going forward. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything on it. I did see Scott Snyder. I don't know. It's excuse me. I don't know if this is a confirmation or just him throwing it in the zeitgeist, but he said, we're talking about Henry Cavill coming back as Superman. Zack Snyder tweeted out, sorry, Jesus, he's excited to work with him again as Superman. I don't know if that's confirming anything, or like I said, just him.
Just more of a,
wishful thinking or whatever. But I was like, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'd be happy for him to work with them again. I enjoyed the Zack Snyder movies when they were exactly Zack Snyder movies.
Yeah.
But I enjoy Zack Snyder movies in general because they're a lot of times just a spectacle to see.
Yeah. He makes movies. Like, he makes art, but it's his art. But he makes movies that are like, there's a reason you go see a Zack Snyder movie in the theaters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you want to experience it on the biggest screen possible with the best audio, because it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, I think this opens up a lot more, like, credibility to things. Not saying that there wasn't credibility before, but, like, if you look at who was in control before at DC with a lot of it, they were not movie people. They were from the comic book world, which you would think would be a good idea, but then, like, you watch what they've done and you're like, oh no. But hopefully, and Kevin Feige is actually fully supporting this. It's not like he was like, oh damn it, we lost Gunn. His tenure at Marvel was essentially coming to an end anyways. So it wasn't like everyone, like, the same thing was like the whole. Everyone's like, oh, Marvel fired James Gunn and he instantly got a DC movie. I don't think that's how that happened. I think that shit was already in the works. And Marvel, yeah, they probably knew about it. Disney probably knew about it. And they weren't holding a grudge against him going into the DC. They just didn't want his bad former press to affect them because they have a certain image they want to do. But I'm pretty sure that DC project was well in the works.
Yeah,
You just
he
don't.
had planned on only doing 3 Guardians films.
Yeah,
There was
so
nothing ever announced that he was going to continue doing anything else within the Marvel universe. So to have something that is already on the back burner that you're not going to announce when you are working for the competitor, essentially, yeah, it would make sense that as soon as he would be finished with Guardians, then that he would want to move on to something else, and that if Warner Brothers or DC or whoever it would be would approach him to say, "Hey, you want to do DC movies?" I'm sure he would say yes.
Yeah.
To it, but you can't announce it until you're done with the other stuff.
Yeah, because you don't want to. You don't want to
just so happen to have some other shit happen in between there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, yeah, it's exciting for sure, and obviously we won't hear much about it until he's done with Guardians 3 stuff, because I'm pretty sure he's a pretty stand-up dude from what I can tell, and he's not really looking to overshadow what's happening, because he put a lot of time and effort into the Guardians, and he's not going to detract from it by just talking DC stuff before that actually culminates and finishes with Guardians 3. So that's it's pretty interesting. I thought it was it's pretty spectacular, and it's nice to see him more of that. And I hope, I was talking about Kevin Feige, I hope he learned a lot from Kevin Feige, and I hope he can do what Kevin Feige has done for Marvel for DC, and I just hope it's not one of those things where like DC puts another person in charge but then shits on all their stuff. Like, they're not letting them do their thing. Like, it's just a weird thing to me. We've talked about this many times before. You hire this person that has a vision, and then you don't let them make their vision.
Right.
It's like, hey, I want to make coffee, so I bought coffee beans. But, hey, just in case, can I have orange juice?
Yeah.
It's like, bro, no. You didn't buy oranges. You bought coffee beans. You can't get orange. Okay, I guess we're gonna try to make orange juice out of coffee beans. You can't. It's not how this works.
Yeah.
But it's exciting, and I think we're on a precipice, as some would say, of some pretty exciting stuff probably coming out and happening. And it just it's exciting to see what's gonna happen. Is really what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Guardians, do you want to talk about the trailer that we saw, I believe yesterday? Was it yesterday?
Day before, I think.
Day before? I don't know. Days start to just melt into each other.
One of these days.
But they finally released the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah,
I suddenly spaced on the name.
Yeah.
Because I don't have it in front of me. Essentially, what it sounds like is Peter from the trailer is a missing, not missing personally, just missing the fact that he's not on Earth and not be able to experience Christmas and whatnot. And so the Guardians, I guess, travel to Earth at one point, obviously,
Yep.
To help him feel the Christmas spirit. And because he... look, all I really want to talk about is the fact that they kidnap Kevin Bacon in the movie, which I think is one of the most hilarious plot points ever.
Yeah.
Because he talks about Kevin Bacon in such high regard in the other movies because he's because of Footloose.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, I almost said Flashdance. Footloose.
He's not in that one.
He's not in Flashdance.
No.
He's in Footloose.
Yep.
So Drax and Mantis decide that it'd be a good idea as a present to Star-Lord to make him to have him meet Kevin Bacon. And in the end, it sounds like they end up kidnapping Kevin Bacon. The trailer looks absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
When does it come out? I can't remember.
So I believe it is November 20-something.
20-something? Okay. It looks absolutely hilarious. I'm going to watch it.
Oh,
What
yeah.
did you think?
Oh yeah, no. I so it's funny is earlier that day, so Marvel wasn't going to release it yet, the trailer for it. It was their hand was forced because some piece of shit got a hold of some stills from it and released it to the internet because that's what people do. So then Marvel's like, well, fuck it, here's the trailer. Since you people want to fucking ruin things for people. So that sucked. But yeah, I saw a picture and I was like, I thought they were teasing it, and then I realized it came from a non-Marvel source, one of the Marvel fan sites or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then Disney released it, and I watched the trailer and I giggled my fucking face off because, like you said, they kidnapped Kevin Bacon or tried to. I'm not too sure if they actually do.
Right.
But it was ridiculous to watch them walking down the street as Mantis and Drax, in full regalia, obviously not realizing that that's not a common thing on Earth to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the Marvel universe, we do know, like, they do know Earth knows that there's aliens, blah blah blah, but they're usually not walking around all willy nilly on the streets, which is hilarious. But it seems ridiculous, and I just fucking can't wait to see more of it. And it just seems one of those, like, it's like a fish out of water type thing, but like the perfect way to do a fish out of water. And then then I just realized it's just setting us up for what we're gonna see when we get Guardians 3 next year. So I mean, it's just good times to be had by everybody.
That's what I think. So I can't wait for it.
Yeah.
And it's coming out on Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I had the article. I didn't have it pulled. I thought I have a bunch of tabs open. It wasn't one of the ones I had.
For shame.
I know. I have a different one that doesn't have the release date for it, so that's a shame on them for not putting that in there. I do not know how to spell. I was gonna say something else about it too. Sequels, release dates. No, what the hell? There it is. The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special is going to be on Disney Plus. Somewhere on here is gonna be give me a date, right? Nope. There it is. November 25th. I was close. Oh, it is the it's the actual last thing for Phase 4, apparently.
Oh, really? So the next...
Because Black Panther Wakanda Forever is next week. Right? A week from when this goes up. It'll be the November something or other, I believe. And then Guardians Galaxy November 25th is the last, is the conclusion of the Phase 4 MCU. So it's the last entry into the Phase 4, leading up to, obviously, the other trailer we got this week from Marvel, which is Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania.
Oh, yeah, that looked cool, too.
Yeah, dude.
Watching that trailer, I kept thinking to myself, are we going to see Kang, right? King the Conqueror?
King the Conqueror, yeah.
I just kept thinking of that. Are we going to see him? Are we going to see him? Are we going to see him? And it just like, it would seem to like tease it and then not happen. Tease it, not happen. And then suddenly, like, the last frame is you see him and you're like, oh, we are getting that.
Yeah, it's cool because
awesome.
you see him in the background, like you're saying, teasing, but they're not showing his face, which is a weird thing. But then when they showed his face, I realized why, because they made his facial markings scars on his face, which I thought was pretty fucking rad. So it's just, and obviously they're using the whole multiverse, so like, this is a different version of Kang the Conqueror,
right?
But very much so, Kang the Conqueror. But yeah, no, it's interesting because there's a lot of like this movie has a lot of obviously it's setting up the future, the beginning, because we are getting this first in part of the year, which I'm trying to look up the date and see exactly when that is February 17th. So
Oh,
doesn't feel like that far away, really.
no.
But yeah, they we're getting that one, which is weird because, bro, this is the 31st movie in the MCU. There's 31. This will be the 31st movie. There's 31 of these fucking movies.
Yeah, that's why we don't do the movie marathons anymore.
Yeah,
Or
because it would be a week long.
remember when we used to do that?
Yeah, and it was manageable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fucking mind blowing. I was like, wait, hold on, 31. And I started counting. I was like, I can't fucking count that high. I don't have that many toes or fingers.
Right?
Plus, I'm going to lose track once I go from like the upper digits to the lower digits. I'm like, oh no, I'm fucking done. Like, I can't double up, Do that whole like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and count down on your hand too. Like, I'm not smart enough for that shit. Yeah, that trailer was awesome because I don't need to see another trailer. That's all I need to see is like that one. I'm good. But we know we're gonna get fucking 15 other ones, and they're just gonna spoil stuff. I did find it very interesting that they gave us a cameo in the trailer of Bill Murray.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
So I had to look up who he is and like who's he playing. And I don't think they've actually specified who it is. But if he's who everyone thinks he is, it's a very interesting thing because he's gonna die. So just so you know. But I don't know. It's weird. I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to sound like one of these fucking internet nerds that is jumping to conclusions. But I was like, he's tiny because he's in the multiverse, or in the quantum realm, and it would fit if that's who his character is. But it's just interesting that Bill Murray is going to play this guy who is sort of kind of a villain, in a way, but like one of those misunderstood ones. He does bad things for good reasons, I guess you could really say. But he gonna die, and he gonna die violently if it happens similar to the way he's died multiple times in the comic books.
Interesting. All right.
But yeah, no, I super dug that trailer, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Can I seize it now? And they said, no, you have to wait till February. And I was like, that's not cool.
Right.
Because I would like to,
see it
now. You can't, I hate, I'm getting to the point in my life where like I don't like trailers anymore. Because like that means I just have to wait for it.
Well, I think too is and I don't remember, maybe this is, maybe I'm just remembering things differently from when I was a kid. But it seems like they will give you a trailer for something, and that thing is still a year out.
Yeah.
You're like, didn't this used to like you'd get trailers like a month or so before the movie's released to drum up the excitement for it and whatnot? And now it's just like, yeah, this is coming in a year. It's like, thanks for getting me excited for something I'm going to forget about in a couple of weeks. And then you're going to give me another trailer, and it's like in 6 months, and you're like, just give me the trailers a couple of weeks before it comes out. I don't need this like to be teased, so early.
Yeah, and it's like the thing is like, I get it because the internet obviously like we can buy tickets for stuff months before it comes out, but it's like you're like, for example, like we like recently Marvel has done a fairly good job more recently with these things where they've like Black Panther, we didn't get the trailer until like July or whatever it was, and that was like a teaser, and then we got a trailer like a little before, so it's like, all right, cool, but like we obviously knew this was coming out, like they told us Wakanda Forever was coming out, blah blah blah, and people were buying, like, chomping at the bit. But it's like the internet is like they just want the trailer now, and then when they get it, they're just like unhappy that they can't watch the movie right away. And it's like, yeah, because you
stop trying to have things both ways, guys.
Yeah, like you can't, like, we already know when these movies are coming out, so why don't we get those trailers accordingly? Mm-hmm. Like, I'll say, okay, 2 months. Like, all right, give me 2 months. That's give you enough time to buy tickets if you're excited by the trailer or whatever, right? And just know that, like, in 2 months' time, you're gonna see the movie or whatever, right? Or have access to the movie. But it's like, you get stuff like, and don't get me wrong, I think teasing stuff like a year ahead, like when you kind of announce stuff, that's kind of cool, right? Like, all right, yeah, we're teasing fucking Ant-Man and Wasp, right? All right, awesome. But don't give me a trailer, like a full-on trailer that essentially is probably not even going to be finished, like stuff that's in the movie, because that's what Marvel likes to do. And then like later on, give me a trailer that's like all different stuff. You know what I mean? Like just give me it in accordance to like the timeline. But whatever. Who knows? I don't get to make those decisions. Not yet. No.
Anyway, that's all I got for today.
All right, man. Yeah, that's a good time to like, nah, we done. So yeah, the whole thing is this has been Come Naturally. We have been
Joe.
I have been Cody, and as usual, you fuckers just came naturally.